Hey, so have you ever felt overlooked or unseen? Well, so did Hagar. Remember in video 1, we talked about Hagar and how she was fled. She felt unseen. She felt unheard. And in this video, we are going to talk about the things that we need to do to move beyond that lie, because it's a lie, sis. Hey guys, it is Dr. G and I'm so excited to have you here. Just call me G. I'm a general pediatrician and I love doing what I do. But somewhere along the way, I honestly just got caught up in the hustle and bustle of work. I honestly was so stressed out. My blood pressure was elevated. I gained a ton of weight here recently, even like 30 pounds. And I was like, okay, G, you got to get it together. I felt down on myself about that 30-pound weight gain, actually, after I just lost 20, because I kind of fell back into bad habits. And bad habits for me equate stress eating. And so I wasn't meal prepping like I normally would do. I wasn't doing all the things that I needed to do to take care of me. And then I found myself 30 pounds heavier. Didn't like what I saw in the mirror, and I just felt devastated. There's also times in my career as a Black female physician in the South where I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. And some of you may be saying, oh, Gretchen, it was just a little imposter syndrome. And I may have had some of that too, but there were times where I was overlooked and I wasn't seen or wasn't heard. And I felt devastated. And so as we are learning how to celebrate all things us, celebrate what God created, understand and discover who we are to Him. And we're His daughters. We're the apple of His eye. It's so very important for us to reframe our thoughts through His eyes. And that's why I love the story of Hagar. To me, it is a true love story. And as we are finishing the year strong, no matter where you find yourself, man, it's important for you to see yourself as the Lord sees you. For those of you who did not see the first video, now girl, go back there and check it out, right? But a quick overview of Hagar's story. She was an Egyptian slave. She was in the household of Abraham and Sarah. More specifically, she was Sarah's slave. Now, we all know that Sarah was barren. That means that she couldn't have any children, right? And the Lord had spoken to Abraham and told him that he was going to be the father of many nations. He told him that that seed was going to come through him, right? But there was some time, like some years that passed between that prophecy, that revelation, that word of the Lord to the manifestation of it. And so Sarah, and you know, as women, it is hard for us to, like, we can't really knock her, because as women, sometimes that's what we do. We analytical. We be up in here trying to make things happen, and that's exactly what she did. Sarah was like, look, I'm barren. I ain't had no kids, but listen, go ahead, go to Hagar, take her as your wife, and we'll just have this seed through her. Abraham did exactly that. And in the process of that, Hagar, this Egyptian slave, conceived. Now, when sis conceived, y'all already know the story. She started acting some type of way towards Sarah. And in acting some type of way with Sarah, baby, it didn't go so well for her. So Sarah was like, hold up. And she had a conversation with Abraham about this. And Abraham was like, that's your slave. You do as you wish with her. And so y'all know Sarah bounced back, right? She bounced back. And when she bounced back, she turned up the heat. Hold on. Penny and Pam. Okay, just make sure y'all good. Those are my two little puppies that we adopted a year ago from a local animal shelter. Anyway, the heat got turned up. And when the heat got turned up, y'all, Hagar was like, I can't, this is a lot. I have been afflicted. It is harsh. And when I say it was harsh, it was harsh. So Hagar was like, you know what? She probably felt like I have no other choice but to bounce. I am about to roll out. And that is exactly what she did. Now, think about it. She is a slave in the household of Abraham and Sarah. She pregnant. And she rolls out into the wilderness. Think about this. Now, y'all know she had to be low of the low, right? And she was like, I can't take this no more. This is a lot. Even though she played a part in it because she acted in contempt to Sarah. She was like, you know, I could only imagine the eye rolls, because y'all know how we do. Like, I ain't gonna even lie. I could roll an eye, baby. And listen, I don't even have to say a word. God working on me. He really is. Like, really is. My facial expressions will tell you exactly what I'm thinking and exactly how I'm feeling. So maybe Hagar was like, yeah, I'm pregnant with Abraham's baby. And she was about it. Sarah bounced back and was like, oh no. Let me show you who is the boss up in here. She got shown and she rolled out. So in the process of all of this, there's some key points, I think, as women that we can take from this as we are entering the end of this year and getting ready to transition over into a new year. And this is number one. God sees you in your pain, sis. Okay. Maybe it was self-inflicted. Maybe it wasn't. Because y'all know sometimes we do the most. And in doing the most, sometimes we can bring things on ourselves. And me, right? And even when we miss the mark, God still sees us. He sees you in your pain. So sis, as you learn how to celebrate all things you, I want you to remember that God sees you. He sees us in our good time. He sees us in our bad times. God sees you in your pain. And then number two, God provides strength for the journey. Now, because I'm a pediatrician, I see it every day. Man, and I was one of those mamas, because let me tell you, sleep was my best friend. And then I had my first baby, and y'all, whoo, it was rough. Now, I was a third-year resident when I had my first child. I was so excited, baby. I had everything lined out and how it was going to be. I was going to breastfeed, and I was going to do this, that, and the other, and everything was going to go perfect. Wrong. Got up there, ended up with late preeclampsia, which is elevated blood pressure. They had to throw me on some magnesium sulfate, which made me feel like crap. And in doing so, I wasn't trying to breastfeed, right? And by the time I got better, by the time they weaned me from the mag and I was coherent enough to try, my baby was like, excuse me? You mean I'm gonna have to work for this? Oh, no. Y'all better give me that bottle like y'all been giving me, because this is easy. I ain't trying to go for this. And I was devastated. I did not expect that. I thought everything was gonna be 100. I thought everything was gonna be good. Here I am, senior level pediatrician. You tell me I'm having problems breastfeeding, excuse me? I felt defeated. I felt devastated. I was suffering. And you know what? It was 6 weeks later before we finally got it. But in the process of it all, I was disgusted. I felt like a failure. Oh man, all the things. So, but God provided me strength for the journey, because it was difficult. It was hard. I had plenty sleepless nights trying to work on breastfeeding. My son was 2 weeks old, and the lactation consultant was at my house when I got the phone call that my father had actually passed away. And I remember her being there consoling me as she was trying to help me get my baby latched on. But God gave me strength for the journey. And we successfully breastfed until he was about 9 months old or so, and he bit me. And don't judge me, but I was done. I had enough breast milk to make it through a couple of weeks or so, but I was done. I was at the end. Yeah, I said it. Just hold your comments to yourself. I am 100% for breastfeeding. And I felt like at that point I was done. And there you go. But God provided strength for me in that journey. And God will provide strength for you in your journey as well. And so as we are preparing for the end of a new year, in the beginning, end of one year, in the beginning of a new year, it's important for us to remember that when we don't have any strength left, that we can lean and depend on God, because he will give us strength when we don't have any to give for ourselves. Okay, and then number 3, God has a purpose for you. Now, we all know the situation. We understand that Hagar was an Egyptian slave, right? We get that. We know that her son Ishmael, which, by the way, means God hears. Oh, we understand that he was the product of human effort and he wasn't the promised child. But even in that, God had a purpose for her and him. He saw her affliction. He sent the angel of the Lord to give her instructions on what to do, to console her, and then also gave her a word regarding her son. And in giving her a word regarding her son, it comforted her. And in that moment, she was like, he sees me. Says God sees you. So again, remember these 3 points. Number 1, God sees you in your pain. God provides strength for your journey. And then God has a purpose for you. Okay, now the next thing I would love to have a conversation with, I got to ask you a question. How has God shown up for you in seasons that may have not been the greatest, right? He showed up for me by giving me a support system in lactation consultants and friends, giving me the support that I needed, even in the form of formula to help me work through all this. Yes, formula is okay. It is. If you decide not to breastfeed and choose to do formula, it's fine. Don't let these people be out here in these streets tripping y'all up in this internet world. Do what works best for you. Yeah, we understand the health benefits of breastfeeding, but it ain't for everybody. And that's the reality of it. So at the end of the day, what I want you to journal about is this. How has God shown up for you before? How has he shown up for you before? I would love for you to share your story in the comments. Okay, my dogs. That's them. Y'all hear them? That's Penny and Pam. Hey, y'all. Okay, can y'all go? Penny. Pam. No, we ain't gonna do that right here by me. Okay? Thank you. Hey, my little sweet little babies. And to say a year ago I was scared of dogs, but that's a story for another day. Right. So I just want to summarize this video for us so that we can learn how to celebrate us, because God celebrates us. He celebrates us. He sees us. He hears us. He is right there with us. We have a helper in him. Now, just like Hagar, you can find strength in your struggles because God sees you and have a purpose for you. Okay, sis, let that sink in. God sees you and he has a purpose for you. Yes, you. That's why you can celebrate you. Now, maybe you're feeling down in the dumps. Maybe you were mistreated. Maybe you had a little imposter syndrome because of childhood trauma. Or maybe there's not a lot of people that look like you doing what you do. And so you're like, ooh, wee. Girl, we ain't going there. You can celebrate you because God does. He sees you and he has a purpose and a plan for you, no matter what the situation is. We can all agree that with Hagar, she did not have a choice in the matter. Other people made decisions for her. She was a slave. She couldn't have said no, even if she wanted to say no, right? So, because other people made a decision about her life for her, she ended up in some adverse circumstances. Now, we understand that she had a part in it, but at the end of the day, in her lowest point, even when she made the choice to leave, God met her where she was, and God meets us where we are. And so, again, in summary, sis, I need you to journal about a time where you were feeling low and God met you where you are. Or maybe there's a time you had imposter syndrome and the Lord met you where you were. Journaling has been so important for me in my walk with the Lord. Not only journaling, but two-way journaling. And hopefully on this channel, we will get to two-way journaling and hearing the voice of God later on. But for now, sis, I need you to finish strong. And you can finish strong knowing that despite it all, God sees you and he has a purpose and a plan for you. So a few things I would like for you to do. I want you to leave me a message in the comments letting me know how God has showed up for you in the past. Number 1. Number 2, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Number 3, share this video with another sister who needs to understand that God celebrates her. He loves her and that she should do the same for herself. And then it should be up here somewhere. I'm gonna try to figure it out, right? Because I'm gonna like hook this up myself. There is a document that I created, and it gives you 3 ways that you can learn how to celebrate you in Christ. Christ finished the work for us. Christ, in him we have our being, we have life. It's all because of him. And because of that, we can celebrate who we are. Because God loved us so much that he gave his only son, that whosoever believed in him would not perish, but have everlasting life. That's how much he loves you, sis. So, okay, we're going to finish strong in this year with the revelation that God sees us. He has a purpose for us. And he provides strength when we need it. Okay, guys, I will see you in the next video. Me, Penny, and Pam. Hopefully they ain't barking and doing the things. But if so, we got to get it done. And we going to make it do what it does. Talk to you later. Bye.